Hi and welcome to my PlayHouse, and today I have this IBM/Lenovo 3650 Model 3. I am changing from one Model 3 to another Model 3 for my 24/7 always on server. I only have one that is always on. I want the server that I'm going to be fully firmware updated with all the stuff that is inside of it, and IBM/Lenovo has a really nice, neat way of doing that. You kind of put all the firmware on a USB stick and you boot on that USB stick and it just updates everything. So I want to show you how to make one of those. So let's go into the computer and have a look at that. I have moved in at my computer and this is running Windows 10. So we're gonna go to IBM's homepage right here and stop that. And to download the tool for upgrading a server, you go into support, and down here they have something they call Fix Central. So we're gonna check that, and here it remembers what I've already done, but let's just wipe this. This is an X3650 M3. So that's available right there, system. So I can pick that. And now I get the product ID that it showed before. And I can select an operating system. Here we have different options. You can select all, but that gives you a very clouded view of what we have here. Just check this, and it seems that if I pick this Windows 2008, I get what I need. So we're gonna pick that, and then it filters out everything that does not run on this. And we need this utility over here, so I'm pressing utility here, and what I have found is that, let's just go down, there is a ToolsCenter creator here, ToolsCenter Bootable Media Creator. And what I think this is because it has a version 10.2 and it's an LNYGY. I think that means that this is Lenovo that is providing that. Further down in the list, down here, there is another ToolsCenter creator, and this is running with the old IBM numbers, IBM BoMC. So I'm actually gonna download both of them because I don't have this version, and I'm gonna try with the Lenovo one first, but I want this one as well. Here you're prompted for your IBM identity. I'm gonna tamp that in. I do not think this costs anything, and I do not believe that they check for anything yet. You just need to have a login to be able to download anything. Okay, I got through, remembered my password, and there is a license agreement that I'll have to press agree to. One of these days I might even read it. So we're gonna download that one, which is the actual program. It's gonna prompt me, it's just gonna put it in the download section. Okay, let's go back. So I'm gonna download this one as well, because I think this is the one that I think Lenovo is taking over creating these. So we're gonna pick that, and I have to agree again. I agree, and we can download that as well, and it's gonna save that at the same place. So I'll have to go and move those. There are about 10 megabytes. That's not a lot. They have been downloaded, so I can minimize, and I'll go move them to somewhere where we can actually use them. and it does not run. Okay, that didn't work very well, so I've moved to my jump server here. And recently I was asked in the comments if I could go into what a jump server is, and really a jump server is just a virtual machine, or it can also be a physical machine that you have online all the time, where you install your programs. This is nothing special. It's a Windows 7, 64 bits, 4 gigs of RAM, and it's on the old 24 server. It's an X3650 Model 3, and the processor is an X5650. But more or less, it's an extra machine where you can install all your crap, and when your regular machine has to be reinstalled and everything, you still have all your stuff on your jump server. So instead of installing it on a physical machine, you can install it on a different machine, and that means that you have access to all your stuff all over. I have access to this server all over the world. But it seems that Internet Explorer, to run this, you needed some Internet Explorer stuff, and that we have over here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Come on. There. We have some Internet Explorer right there. So I jumped to this jump server instead, and I can now agree to the license terms there. So this is the program. I'll just minimize all the other stuff to concentrate on this. This is now copyrighted Lenovo, and there is still some IBM stuff involved. So what can we do here? We can create a bootable media for updating our server, and that's exactly what we want to do. We can here choose to load a previous saved configuration, or we can check for a later version of this tool. I just downloaded this. We're not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna press next, and here we can select what we want to do, and I want to make this update thing here. We could also do a diagnostics disk so that it will update the diagnostics on a server as well. We're gonna do an update, and we want some of this auto run thing, allow task automatically. We want that, and we want it to update, and that's about it. We don't want it to be non-graphical. I like the graphical bit. Next, we can choose if we wanna go for the latest confirmed good, or we just want the latest. This is kind of, do you want a stable version or do you want the latest stuff? So we will go for the, well, it's an old server. I'll go for the latest stuff on this, and just next, and proxy, nope, next. And here we go in and select the server version that we need, and hopefully Lenovo hasn't deleted this server from here. 7945. 7945. There we are. That's the one we want. You can actually make a boot disk for all your servers. You can check more servers, and you can just make one boot disk that includes all of them, and that's really neat sometimes. We could just do that. I want it to be able to do the Model 2 as well, so I want that too. Next, we can make a working directory. Do we already have that? I do think so. Yeah, we have temp and working directory. That's fine. Next. And we want to make an image file, and it can put it down there. I'll just give it a new name. X3650 M23. I know what that means. I might have forgotten when we get there. Next. And it will create that ISO file for me. First, it will go up to IBM/Lenovo's homepage and download all the good drivers. That's actually what it's doing now. It's connecting, and it's gonna be checking for the newest stuff for all of these. That's gonna take a while. It started downloading now, different stuff. It seems that it found 5 packages for the 7945, which is the Model 3. And when it's done that, it's gonna continue with the 7947, which is the Model 2. Oops, it seems that I said it wrong. It's actually picking up 60 updates for that server. And it hasn't examined the Model 2 yet, but well, it's picking up 60 updates for the Model 3. And it's all kind of updates. It's right from the firmware update to some tape drive update. It can be everything. Right here is that's RAID controller. That's another RAID controller. UEFI BIOS something for Linux. Different versions. A lot of different versions. And it picked up 55 updates for the Model 2. And now it's picking up some packages for the, well, these 3. I think they're in there every time. It has to pick some of that up as well. Looks like some firmware updates. IMM firmware updating. Okay.
Now it's downloading the last update. This is taking a while. That's the piece of the thing that is gonna be booting the Linux thing. And in the meanwhile, I've been looking at the server over here, that one, and we're just gonna log into that. And password with a 0 instead of the O, but capital letters. Log in. We're gonna select 20 minutes before it throws us out. That's always a good idea. And let's just see vital product data here. Down here we can see that, oh, I've been lazy. This server hasn't been updated since 2010, so there might be an update or two for it laying around waiting. And it can also tell us what RAM we have in here, so hopefully that's all the RAM slots that these are supposed to be in. It should be. But we want to do some remote control to this server in just a little bit. To start upgrading it. When I press the remote control here, it will pop up and tell me that it wanna download some Java stuff. Okay, open that, and Java is gonna come and complain and say that it does not have permission. So press OK to that, and nothing more is gonna happen. And to fix that issue, you go into Control Panel, and you go into Java. There we are, Java. And we go into security, and then we have an exception list here. Stuff that it's allowed to do even though it's not supposed to. And we can edit that and add another one to the exception list. So we'll add that comes down here at the bottom here. We have to write http://192 like that. Okay. Blah blah blah. Continue. And that should be added. We'll just minimize this if we need it again. I don't think it works right away. I think we have to go in and out. Okay, it did something more, so it might be working without restarting the browser. Yeah, this looks good. We're up and running. Okay, what we get here is a remote console of the server out there. This is exactly the same thing as we see on the screen. So we can do all the stuff that we can do out there. Plus, we can launch the virtual media, which, come on, here we are, which enables us to mount a ISO file and boot from that ISO file remotely, which is pretty awesome. Let's minimize all this good stuff for when this ISO file is actually completed, which it is almost. The program has completed, so now we can press next. and finish, and it will close. Now we go back and we get our remote screen here, like that, and we mount our ISO file, our update file. There we are. Apparently when I've shut it down, it did not want to go back on. So we will add image, and we will seek out our image. That's on C drive, not that C drive, but that C drive, and temp, and bootable. No, that's not it. It's that one. Open that one. We're gonna map it, mount selected, and it should be mounted. And then we need to reboot our server here. So I can actually, I think I'll do that from VMware, so that VMware knows that it's going down. And it has done copying, so, and that's the server. There's no virtual machines on it right now, so we're gonna reboot it. Yes, why? Update. Update, thank you. And that will just reboot the server. We should see it going down here in just a little bit. There we are, it booted. Press F12 for the boot device, and we're gonna pick the, I'm pretty sure it's the CD-ROM that we need to pick here. It's not the embedded hypervisor, USB storage. I think we'll pick the CD-ROM. ToolsCenter looks promising. This is actually quite nerve-wracking. I've never seen the Lenovo version of this. See how much changes they have done, if any. Pre-mount, a lot of stuff rolling through the screen here. Ooh. Ooh, bigger screen and a mouse. Ooh, we have mouse. Mouse. And it should start all by itself. Let's see if that works. It still says IBM systems down here. Lenovo. That's okay. It's gonna take some years before they really get into this. It's like when they bought the desktops and the laptops. It took years before we really changed it from talking about IBM laptops until we were calling them a Lenovo laptop. It takes some getting used to, right? It sees the machine type over here. Let's see what it found. It found some Wi-Fi flash updates it's gonna do. IBM Dynamic System Analyzing is also gonna be upgraded. Onboard network. Oh, there's... You can see the installed version, what version it's on right now, and the new version that it's gonna be installing. Also, the server rate firmware is rather old. And then there is a lot of... Oh, okay, it suggested that. Let's get that too. We don't need the tape backup things down here. What is this one for? Firmware update for integrated management. Yeah. Okay. And it's gonna be upgrading now. I might have to boot this several times before we are really done upgrading everything. But let's see, we have the firmware, is that one. Analytics, diagnostics thing is that one. We have the network cards, we have the RAID controller, and we have the integrated management module, the IMM. So let's hope it gets all of that. It's running very fine here. It has updated the firmware to version 1.20, and it's updating the DSA, the Dynamic System Analysis. That is running, and well, it's more or less keeping to itself, so I have been doing other stuff. Got a little further now, and oh, it did not upgrade the RAID controller. This is a common problem. I've had this before. It cannot upgrade from the very old version that I have on it to the very new version. I have to install all kind of crappy versions in between. If you don't ask me, I have some of these ISO files hidden away from back in 2011 and 2013, and I usually am able to boot it on that, and it will upgrade the RAID controller to the next level, and then the next level, and then I can get it to the latest level. But if you don't have that laying around, you have to install an OS and install it that way. The old version should be available somewhere. I'm not sure how to do that, but well, that's how I do it. Okay, now we have actually lost the view has been terminated, and that's probably because we were updating the integrated management module. So when it was upgrading itself, it kicked us. Can't really blame it. It's like changing out the engines on a flying airplane. Not a good idea. We might be able to connect to it again if it's up and running. But well, let's see how it's doing. Right now it's down, so we could try and see if it will want to let us in again. Okay, I was able to reconnect after a few tries. It has upgraded the IMM, and it had to reboot that, and that is now up and running. It was unsuccessful to upgrade the RAID controller, as I said before. There is too many upgrades between those two, so I have to go in and do some ninja tricks in the background. Oh, that's not the one. In the background here, I'm downloading my 3 ISO files that I've made previous. They are kind of old, but that's just instead of installing some kind of a Windows and upgrading it that way. Firmware. We have firmware upgraded the IMM, that's pretty new. We have also firmware updated the DSA, which is newer, it's not 2010 anymore. And the UEFI is not upgraded yet, but I'm pretty sure that I just need to reboot the server. So I want to do that.
Back in the server room, and I just booted the server, went into the BIOS, and I can now see that the firmware is now from the summer 2014, and apparently there haven't been any firmware releases, and apparently that's the latest firmware for this M3. I'll go check that. Back in the data center, I just booted the server again, went into the BIOS and checked that everything is updated here. I have the firmware is now from 2014, the IMM adapter is from 2016, and the diagnostics is from 2014. So it worked, it has upgraded it. I only need to go back and mingle with the RAID controller. That's gonna be a longer process, but this usually does work, just don't get too far behind. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again upgrading my server further. Have a nice day. Bye bye.